Good morning, Abundant Life. This is Pastor Chris. Today we're going to continue with our study of John chapter 6, verses 16 down through 25. Jesus has fed the 5,000. Then he sends the disciples that night in a boat across the lake without him. He catches up to them by walking on the water. The next day, the people wake up. They think Jesus is still there. He's not. They walk around the lake, Capernaum. They see Jesus. Hey, how did you get here? But that's not what they were really wanting to know. They were after something else. So why did they come looking for Jesus this next day? What do they want exactly? And why does that matter? You might think, well, they were worried about him. They woke up and he wasn't there. Come on. Jesus is a grown man. Jesus can take care of himself. They were not worried about his safety or anything. Again, this was not a big deal if he walked across the lake or if he had stayed there. They weren't searching for Jesus because they wondered where he had gone. They weren't concerned for his safety. All right, if that wasn't it, then what did they want? Or did they want to learn some more stuff from him? He'd been teaching them. That'd be the noble answer. Jesus, enlighten us some more. But the real truth here isn't quite that noble. They were after something else. What was it? And what does it teach us? If you can find out what somebody wants, if you can find out what they're really asking, then you know a little bit more about them and what's driving them. If your kids come to you and say, hey, can we help do the dishes? Do you need us to vacuum or fold laundry? And it's early December. What are those kids really after? Yeah. What were these people really after? What were they looking for exactly? And why does that even matter? Because it does matter. Right? Once again, if you can see their motives, you can see what was in their heart. Well, remember that the miracle of feeding this huge crowd, that was something special. That moved the people. And Jesus was showing the people that he was a prophet. He was a prophet like Moses. Now, Moses led the people out of Egypt, led them in the desert, led them to the promised land. Moses was considered a great hero of Judaism. And Jesus is drawing himself, he's drawing a parallel between himself and Moses. Moses got the people out of slavery. Jesus is saying, I will take you out of slavery to sin. That was the point, to show them. This is what the feeding was about, to show them that he was a prophet like Moses. What's one other thing Moses was known for? Not parting the Red Sea, true. But there was one other thing. When the people had no food in the desert, what happened? Bread came from heaven. The people were miraculously fed. What did Jesus just do? He miraculously fed them bread. This is another parallel between Jesus and Moses. All right, the people are catching up on this, but they're not quite. They're in the neighborhood. They're just knocking on the wrong door. Yes, Jesus was the prophet that was going to come, the prophet that would be like Moses, but they missed the real meaning of the bread. In their minds, it was, hey, Jesus is going to provide food for us, just like Moses did, so we don't have to worry anymore. Think about that. This is a poor people. Somebody's going to feed us now? Fantastic. So Jesus fed us dinner last night. Great. Now we wake up. Guess what it's time for? Breakfast. Where's Jesus? They walk across like, hey, when did you get here? It really means, what's for breakfast, Jesus? Now, here's the thing. The people are starting to think Jesus is going to provide all of our physical needs for us from now on. After all, isn't that the role of the Messiah? Ask yourself this, with that kind of a mindset, were these people ready to serve in Jesus' new kingdom? The disciples had just seen that Jesus can walk on water. They're in awe of him. On the other hand, the people who went looking for him were now thinking that Jesus is like some short order cook. So in their minds, what kind of Messiah are they expecting that they're going to follow? Kind of the Messiah who will basically cater to our every needs. Is that the kind of Messiah that Jesus is. This is going to be a problem. And we see it's a problem today. At this point, the people did not have what it takes to serve Jesus. They didn't have what Jesus was looking for. He's looking for a willingness to put God first and to be a part of something great, to be a part of a movement that's going to change the world. What the people want is somebody who's going to feed them. They weren't ready because they had no idea what they were signing up for. They were not ready to serve. They were ready to be served. As I said, that's a problem with a lot of modern Christianity today. We are here to serve God. Nope, God is here to serve us. I'm sorry. With that mindset, you have no idea what you are signing up for. I can remember, it's hard to believe it's been like 35 years or so, but when the first Gulf War was fought back in 1990, a very long time ago, I guess it was 91, anyways, long, long time ago. When that first Gulf War was fought, I remember watching the news and there was an interview with a young soldier being shipped overseas. And he said, "It's not fair. I only joined the army so I could have money for college, and now they're sending me off to fight a war." Now, I don't mean any disrespect to anybody who has served, but when this young man enlisted, was he ready? Was he mentally and emotionally ready? No. He had no idea what he was getting himself into. This is what Jesus is looking for: people who are ready to serve. Now, we'll talk more about this next time. Till then, have a great day. And I got to get my phone.